Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Emilio Matos, Adam Peake, and Corey Connors. Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Monday, August 12th.
Ooh, ooh. Boxes, man.
Yeah, just working on some moves for 2028.
Dude, we're ready. We are ready to bring the heat. Come 2028, breakdancing, we're here. You know, I feel terrible, but as bad as it is, it's still funny.
She's gonna get a lot of attention from this, and I think she could turn it into positive things.
She's a PhD.
In breakdancing.
Definitely not breakdancing.
No, for real. That's what it is.
She has a PhD in breakdancing.
Yes.
Yeah. She is the doctor of the dance.
That's right.
She's the breakdance doctor.
PhD in breakdancing. She's probably, in debt like $400,000 for that education. So.
Yeah, my favorite one that I saw was somebody put it to the Seinfeld intro music, and it's like, why is this perfect? And she's like totally on beat with the boom, ba-dum, bum, bum.
But it's terrible. I feel terrible for her, like the amount of heat that she's getting. But in today's day and age, she can definitely turn that into something super positive. I see a shoe coming out. I see every single Halloween costume this year going to be the green jumpsuit.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be it.
Or what about the gold wasp thing from the closing ceremonies? That was another good one. Yeah, I mean, she could have a full TikTok following of like dance moves, and I mean, you're right. It could. Because how many break dancers went to the Olympics and nobody knows who they were because nobody saw? It's like
dozens. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a ton of athletes who went there. There's probably athletes who got medals that nobody has any idea about, but we know about Corey's doppelganger shooting guns, and we know about Australian breakdance fighting. So it's like, you're not going to be first, then.
Yeah,
stand out.
Might as well be different, right?
We've already reached out to her to have her breaking some boxes for us.
She should go on the AICC's podcast, breaking down boxes, and totally.
We should be her official corrugated sponsor, our podcast.
Yeah, we could make it happen before it's too late. Before she has too many.
Yeah,
too many offers.
Yeah, or before we forget.
Yeah, I already forgot. What were we talking about?
Packaging.
No, I feel terrible. I saw a bunch of stuff out there too, just like where it's like, if this was a man, nobody would make fun, but
no, we would definitely.
It's funny regardless.
It was. Yeah, but
I don't know. They canceled softball to replace it with breakdancing.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jeez. My daughter was not super happy about it, but she left.
They still have synchronized swimming and synchronized diving.
Yeah, they do.
So your daughter should be excited about that.
So my other daughter was super stoked. And she got to train with one of the coaches that were out there, and she knew some of the girls, and so that was pretty good.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
So you have one daughter who sports softball and one daughter who sports synchronized swimming.
Yes, I do.
Okay, got it. Locked away now.
That's right. That's all the sports I know.
It's in the zone.
Yay, sports. Okay, so we've covered the sports section of the packaging today. Yeah.
So
we don't have any guests, do we?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's just us. Is anybody watching?
That's the question. If you're watching, let us know.
Let us know.
If you're not, let us know that too.
Yeah,
please. Yeah, especially if you're not watching, then drop in the comments and say, I'm not watching.
That's
or say something about how terrible, like nobody pays attention to this, and like comment about it and get really mad. Comment a bunch about it, actually.
Right.
About how awful, especially this podcast. Just comment on how terrible it is. Please. I need some more negative attention.
Yeah, let's do it.
Algorithm going.
Yeah, so we got a couple things to cover today. We got a comment coming in. Let's see what we got.
Howdy, partner. Seth from the
not
South.
watching.
We need some more Southerners on here.
Hi, Seth. Good morning.
That's right. What's up, buddy?
Tennessee. I'm just gonna sing and make clips about Tennessee and Georgia.
Devil's in the house of the rising sun.
Yeah. We need more tracks.
Devil's in the house of the rising sun.
That's the best part of the show ever.
Charlie Daniels Band, Arrested Development. I cover all the classics.
You do it all. What's up, guys? We got JQ.
El Presidente.
That's right. That's what
Chief
happens.
Executive.
We got Matt coming in from Buffalo.
Hey, Matt.
What's up, guys? Yeah. So, all right. So, podcasts, check them out. Packaging Unbox, Corey, Sustainable Packaging Podcast, Adam Peak, People of Packaging, and we got our buddy Mike Picciuto.
Hey, Mikey.
What's up, buddy? How's it going? Check him out.
Forget about it. Wait, that's not awesome.
Check out the Scrap app, which actually allows you to scan the barcode and tells you if it's recyclable, how it's recyclable in your area, which is pretty amazing that you can do that. So
Mikey
definitely
also
cool.
has a great story about how lobsters were fed to prisoners because there were so many lobsters.
That is a neat story.
Yeah, you should connect with Mikey to hear about scrap recycling and lobster feeding of prisoners.
That's
and
right.
if you have a brand, you can send all your information to Mikey and his team, and they will put it in their app at no cost to you, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
But lobsters also.
Lobsters first.
But that's the most important point is the lobsters. Yeah. Hey, Kirk.
That's right.
Three
Paquigos.
Paquigos? Is that
Gotta do All right. So we got a bunch of stuff now. We got Amazon is reducing packaging waste with artificial intelligence. So AI is coming for your trash.
Go.
That's right. Reduce, reuse, recycle lobsters in prison.
That's right.
So we see a ton of AI stuff happening. I know the team over at Packdoor just launched a new thing for packaging with AI. You can like throw your stuff in there. It'll create like new renderings and change your backgrounds. You can throw a picture of your actual packaging in there and it'll change the background, do some cool stuff.
Yeah,
but a lot of times it's just like superficial stuff, right? Where you're coming up with new concepts, showing like fast ideas through AI. We're not seeing a lot of movement in actually doing something.
Yeah.
It's like all on the creative side, but like with Amazon,
production ready. Yeah.
Yeah. What Amazon's doing is they're actually helping reduce the amount of packaging that they're sending out with AI. And it's not like the AI that you're considering that you think about, like with Midjourney, all these other things like images. No, forget that. It's actually like looking, processing, and changing the size of the boxes in order to avoid more and more waste. Which is awesome. You can take a look at the story here, but Adam, Corey, like, what do you guys like? How do you like? What are other uses for AI that maybe people aren't thinking about? Like, what can they do in your business that you could reduce the amount of packaging that you're putting out there?
I have one. Can I start?
Yeah.
That was an awkward silence. That almost killed the entire show.
No, I was gonna let it roll. See how long we can be weird.
Yeah. No, that was gonna. Weird's a new word. Like that's a new thing to describe people. Apparently, it's bad. I'm like it's
Ohio.
Where did this view come from? Let me tell you all about AI.
Here's
very
the secret.
close up. It's very, very intense, right in your face. Yeah. So I see AI. I love this with Amazon. I think it's a great use case for Amazon because Amazon has been mocked and shamed more than the Australian breakdance lady for over packaging. And the thing that's nice about this one is not only is it better for the environment, it uses less materials, and it's also better for the pricing model for Amazon because they're right sizing their packaging. I think companies like PackSize are doing similar sorts of things, implementing machine learning /AI. I see it working out a lot from like a folding carton perspective. So I know that like at the last spec summit, SpecRite was talking about deploying AI for their specs. So if somebody is designing a folding carton, you kind of want to know either A, do we already have this die line? Seems like that would
Mm,
be a simple question to answer. It's not always as simple. And B, how would these if we change the size, for example, could we fit two more up on a sheet?
right.
How would these lay and that this already exists, by the
Mhm.
way. It's just not deployed as readily. It's still a
Mm,
lot of like laying out by hand onto the sheet and then creating the die lines themselves. So the stuff you're talking about with Pacdora combined with like good spec management to me is a great way to save money and
yeah.
to drive efficiencies on the sort of on the pre-press side of something like folding cartons. Is that helpful, Avelio? Did I answer your question, sir?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of. I think if we're considering how we can use data to
Yeah.
reduce the amount of packaging that we're creating and producing and delivering to customers, I think is always helpful. And
Yeah.
a lot of times we don't really think that far ahead because we're just focused on like, oh, AI can do pretty pictures. But like
Yeah.
a lot of what they're doing is because they've got so much information like plugged into their products. When a product's about to it's going to get shipped out, like if it has the words grocery in it, or if it has like screen or stoneware in the description, the machine automatically knows it's not going to go into a padded mailer. But if it says, like multi-pack or bag or shrink or pack or something like that associated with the product, then they're going to put it into a padded mailer because they know that those products have a reduced damage rate in the mail, right?
Right.
So like they're tracking how sensitive a product is based on historical data,
Mhm.
and then how they're going to pack it, and then the overall size of it. So there's so much, there's a ton of
Yeah.
stuff that's happening out there. Amazon's kind of leading the way with this stuff because obviously they've got the funds to do
I
so,
agree.
but
I think
it'll roll
I
out
think
to everybody at some point.
SpecRite is a great example of how to use data and AI together to make yourself more efficient and more streamlined. And we're using that at Aurora in design.
Mhm.
And then we take a look at the end of the journey of packaging, which is at a MRF. And that's where I see AI becoming even more and more valuable in the chain because it's able to pull out the items for recycling.
Yeah.
And scrap is a great use case for what that looks like within the end of life, right? Where
Right.
especially with this new law, I think it's like 2027, where the UPC code is supposed to be the traditional UPC code is supposed to be going away to a a matrix QR code style scanning. And that could also be pretty impactful if there's a way because you can actually hide some of those codes, embed it into the artwork,
Mhm.
so it can be viewed from anything, right? Any
As
angle or
long, as long
whatever.
as you're printing 4-color process, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't I mean, you could, it just might look a little bit awkward if you tried to hide that with a screen.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be strange. But I mean, theoretically it could happen. So, yeah, I agree. There's a ton of room for innovation, much more than it actually I would say like even design, I kind of wish it was still a little bit more uh manual, like creative, like human creativity. And I
Mhm.
know that
Yeah.
that's, people aren't just taking a design from Midjourney and sending it to their printer, right? Like it's used for ideation, it seems like oftentimes, but
Dude, there's some
uh,
crazy stuff happening. I'm part of this AI group on WhatsApp, and just seeing like what people are doing is insane. My buddy Shay, who I'll have on the podcast here soon, he's doing crazy 3D items.
Hmm.
He's like we just sat on a call, and he showed me some like 3D printed objects that he'd created through AI, and I'm like, well, like, can you mash up these two characters from some of these Marvel things, and let's 3D print it? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, click, 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 mashes them up. And it wasn't super easy because you have to like get in there and fine tune it. But within the call, it was pretty quick. Kind of mashed them up. Then he outputs like a 3D file, like a full wireframe. You can see it, fine tune it, and then send it to print. And from a shopping,
Incredible.
like from a consumer standpoint, if I could go in and combine things and make up my own stuff, that's part of like a licensed IP.
Right.
Like, how cool is that? Right. And that's
Yeah.
just in like 3D. So bringing that to packaging or bringing that to product or bringing that to even like molded fiber, right? If we kind of get simple and, we've got like this earbud, product, like, can I put this in and then
There's like, look how much money I make. I just pull earbuds.
Or those
I
Pros,
just have AirPod Pros just laying around everywhere.
my
'cause I'm
extra
rich.
pair.
Jeez.
I mean, that's the ones. I mean, these are the
I'm
ones.
like a
these
molded
are the ones
fiber,
that I
like
got
this
over here.
Casio calculator. Don't worry about me.
Oh, that's
a
solar, Adam.
two-way solar power.
See,
I
that's
find my
crazy.
TI-83.
Yeah,
That
see,
AI
mine,
powered.
mine I've got to plug in old school. At least yours takes power from the sun. Those are pretty high tech.
Good
Well,
point.
it was a big purchase on Amazon, but the packaging came in was appropriately sized because of AI.
And that's just it. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff happening here. So Mikey's just correcting you because you're completely wrong. All right. So instead of just a barcode, you get fully customizable QR code. You can use it now, but it isn't required until 2017.
Yeah, the
So when
big
I'm
holdup
doing
is
self-
obviously point of sale scanning. So most of those scanners can't read those QR codes, which is a big undertaking. So
Yeah, that's my question. It's like, dude, I choose self checkout. Like, if I'm going to go there and I have to wait for assistant, I'm just going to throw that product against the wall. You guys are so slow. We got on here for today as we're kind of moving along. Another. Oh, we got JQ. JQ, are you still on here? Let us know if you're still on here. So another packaging, another plastic material linked to another something. So there's an article today on plastic material that's linked to increasing the risk of autism in boys. I don't know, man.
But
it's
that's
like
BPA, right? I looked at that article you sent.
Yeah,
I think that's been well established to not be a healthy material. Everything even says BPA free now, even drink containers and cups and all kinds of things. But yeah, I think it's sad that we're just now finding all this out.
Yeah, well, there's you find out after everybody gets sick, right? But so JQ, what's the question for JQ? Why, is this still an issue? Are we still seeing BPA in plastics that are in food, or that's been completely removed at this point, right? Like, you're not allowed to know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question for Jonathan Quinn. Recycle symbol. He's not saying yep to.
He's saying yep, he's here. Yes.
He's here.
He's saying
he
yep.
Answered your
he's
question.
Excited that there's BPA in all these products. Like, he loves it. No, he does
He
not.
He wouldn't say that.
He would not say that.
He would not.
Yeah, I think. Mikey is way behind. Mikey, catch up. The internet's slower on the East Coast, I guess. So, but I like that I'm spot on. The thing that I whenever I read that story, it's in the Independent over in the UK, and I was like, yeah, I think that we know this. Also, the data is a little funky to me, and the outcome, and this is like probably way too big for this podcast, but it's always sort of bothered me where it's like the outcome is
that's
like
not possible, Adam.
Increased risk of autism in boys, and it's inherent in the article that is bad and we need to stop that. And I'm like, I mean, like that's a whole other conversation. Not that like it's like, oh, we want more people to have autism, but that it's inherently like something is wrong with a person. Like, I know people who have autism, and I would not tell them like there is something that is definitely wrong with you. Now, are the two things connected? Kind of. Like, BPA is probably bad, and we should have BPA-free plastics. But also,
the bottom of the article, it does say this doesn't mean that BPA is the sole cause of autism. It's like,
right.
Some children are genetically predisposed. So sorry if we alarmed you. It's like,
yeah.
No,
do all
I
this
get it, right?
content.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's also like that's all the way at the bottom of the article, and people don't really read. Like, but what's implied in it is like this is terrible for society,
Mhm.
and the reason it's terrible is because it has an increased risk of
Mm.
autism. Therefore, people who have autism are like that's sort of the they don't ever go there, right? But I'm just like, how do you have a conversation about this without shaming people who have autism? Because I think that's bad. We should not shame people who have autism because there's incredible people who are autistic in this world, and also say like, but this is a chemical that is causing harmful things in
Yeah.
society. I don't know. It's such a I struggle with that conversation because of those two things. Like to
Right.
me, they're both competing narratives. Maybe I'm
Well,
thinking about it too much, but
Eva's
I think
point
so.
is accurate. They mentioned in the article about cans, lining of cans. So this isn't exclusively plastic containers. It's other
correct.
packaging materials that were lined with BPA because it's like PFAS. It's a great liner for materials, and it's terrible to see what it can do to people. But yeah, well said,
But it's
Eva.
confirmed. But it's confirmed though. Like in the study, you read it and it's confirmed, and it's like we confirmed this with mice, and I'm like, I, I don't know. Like again, is BPA? Should we? Is anyone clamoring for more BPA in plastics? Of course not, right? But it's just it's a weird thing to be like,
Not me.
but if we do it, then this is what's going to happen. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I get a little weird with articles like that. To be totally honest, you want to get
So
me fired up on a Monday morning, and this will do it.
this is it. BPA. Hit him with
We
the
did it.
BPA.
Hit me with the BPA.
Let's do this, man. I think maybe next Monday, John, JQ, Jonathan, Jonathan to the Q. If you're available, we'd love to have you on. We can kind of dig into this a little bit more. That'd be awesome because then we can actually ask you, and you don't have to type through this because the delay kind of stinks. And I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions around plastics, and you've got a long history with plastics. I mean, you were born.
And you come on and talk about your new job, like
Yeah, for sure.
Chief Executive Officer.
That's right.
yes,
So I want to go back to Sadesh's question here. I have zero idea on this, but I figure you guys might know something. He's asking, would we have a suggestion for types of paper boards that are available for a folding carton which can sustain the heat of hot air conventional oven at 200 degrees for 30 minutes?
I don't.
200
I would
degrees
say, I mean, and the
Fahrenheit.
reason I'm saying like I don't, there's so many of these questions that come up. The good news is that they are there are great testing facilities here in the US that I always recommend. Like we'll get a couple of materials, we'll talk with material suppliers. Sometimes a material supplier will know. But there's like I'm trying to think of there's a couple of packaging labs here in the US where you can send this, they can do advanced age testing, they can do oven testing.
Mhm.
And then you get a third party that can validate what it is that you're trying to do. I would highly recommend that third party packaging testing through like a compliance lab, because then the accountability is not, you're not trusting the vendor to say like, yes, this is for sure gonna work, because they have something to sell you, and the
Right.
only thing that the third party wants to do is deliver reliable testing. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, we had a bakeable paper product in the past that I remember for I think it was for muffins or something like that, muffins or bread rolls or different kinds of things like that. But I don't know exactly the temperature it could get to. I'm not
Or the
a
product
a-
that's inside of it, or
yeah.
it's just there's so many there's a lot of different variables. So yeah, you're going to start with something that is certified for, in this case, direct food contact, is certified
Mhm.
for high temps, and then there's going to be a couple of different options. Take those, get a sample, preferably a printed sample if you can, because inks and
Yeah.
coatings can also have an impact on it, and then run your test that way.
100%. I'm assuming that's 200 Celsius, which is 400, basically 400 degrees.
I
Fahrenheit.
don't speak. I only speak metric.
What is that? French? Jeez, Avelio.
All right, so JQs, as long as we're cooking with gasoline, then that makes sense. But yeah, we'd love to
No,
have you on here, man. It'd be
I
great
think
to
it
have
means he
you on
wants to
here.
come on the show, not
Yeah.
that we need to use
So
gas stove
He's
testing for the boys.
suggesting cooking with gasoline. Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I have read. Yeah.
Back to the BPA. I think Mikey kind of hits it right. Basically, the concept of the article is that you got these products entering your body without your consent,
Right.
which is always a bad thing. So
True, but I mean, I would argue not against that, but I would say like we breathe air. Like when I go outside in Utah, if it's I mean, we have this thing called the inversion. Like we'll have a day where it's just like terrible air quality, and it's like I go outside
that
and
sounds like the rapture.
I'm gonna
It's like, what are you doing?
the inversion coming to Salt Lake City this winter. But you know, like I'm going to breathe in things that are happening. I mean, I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying like I step on an airplane and somebody sneezes and I'm going to breathe in something without my consent, right? Like I've got to smell whatever essential oil the lady decided to put on next to me, or
There's a
whatever
lot.
perfume, or it's
That's
like
a whole nother thing. Yeah, let's
course,
talk
these
about
things
that.
are all going to happen. Oh, geez. Flying out to Utah 2 days before an essential oil convention is a
Ugh.
different. It was fine. It's just like it was fine.
It's a lot.
It
of
was just a
smell.
lot, but it
That's
was
fair.
fine.
You can't be honest because you sell essential oil packaging, but
I do not, and I can tell
read
you, it was
why.
not. There are worse smells because they all sort of cancel each other out, but it was a lot.
No, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. That stuff is murder. Just a little.
Yeah.
It's not more. More is not better in this case.
It's like Axe body spray in junior high, right? Like
Right.
one
Yeah.
spray is enough. Young people.
The new thing with the boys is wearing like luxury perfume. So they're out buying like Chanel's and like Loewe's, and
Wow.
they're still applying it like Axe.
Right.
You can smell them from 3 days ago.
So pungent. Wow.
I have a bottle of cologne that my wife bought for me when we were dating. So that was between 2003 and 2000 to 2003. Sometime during then, I have a bottle of cologne that I still have that's like probably got a third of its life left because I just don't.
Yeah.
Me and cologne don't go very well together. Yeah. We have one more article to get to though. It's very exciting.
We got like 2 seconds.
No, we have
Hey,
longer,
Brian.
but it's about packaging in the Olympics and not corrugated box breakdance fighting.
Reusable.
Yes, we got reusable packaging at the
Like
Olympics.
this.
Raise awareness of the possibility. Nice.
Reusable.
Of beyond disposable, and it was through reuse.
REUZ.
Yeah. So they did Wimbledon. They've tested this out at Starbucks. There's a bunch of stuff. It's on triplepundit.com. And I don't know. You've got a reusable cup there, Corey. Having
It's the
these
future.
reusable cups
Yeah.
at stadiums. How do you feel about
I think it'll be
their mouth on there and you're putting yours on there?
well, I think that's true with any restaurant, right? If you've ever eaten out at a restaurant, those
I BYO my own
Yeah.
silverware.
those cups and glasses have been used hundreds, sometimes thousands of times. This is the future, I think, for closed loop environments like stadiums, festivals. There's no reason for single use. There's no reason for it. It makes it so much worse for the environment. We need to reuse cups for festivals and stadiums. It's just the people at Bold Reuse, Jocelyn and Heather, are who I would recommend reaching out to. They've been pioneers in the industry, incredible people. They just set up a new facility in Phoenix, Avelio. So absolutely changing the game. They've diverted millions of cups from landfill by reuse.
Now, some of the videos I've seen online about these reusable cups, it's not the cups fault, but I've
Mhm.
seen like at the stadium, they'll open cans and then put it in the cup,
Right.
give you the cup, and then may as well just give me the can. Like
Right.
there's no benefit there. Now you've got twice as much waste.
I
right?
agree. Yeah.
Well,
The intention here is this. Yeah.
There's got to be something when it comes to like sanitation or whatever it is where they do that, because
No, because if it's like a fountain drink, if it's just water, if it's like an actual larger dispenser.
Mhm.
yeah,
I
but I'm
think-
saying if somebody has a can of something and they just hand you the can and then you drink directly from the can, like if they,
Like
Uh,
what you do every day.
I know, but I'm saying
For
like,
the last 100
but-
years.
but remember, these events have massive insurance policies, right? And so the reason why they might use something that's single use is for whatever FDA has said you're allowed to do and not do. Like there are
Yeah.
laws that are governing these things. So there could be like Starbucks, for example. I will bring my reusable cup in there and they will make it in a Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
And then they'll take my cup at the end and then they'll give it to me. And then I have to pour it into my cup
Yeah.
because they're not allowed to, because they don't know if it was cleaned well or not. It could be contaminated. Like there. So as much as it sucks, like there's probably
Well,
some things that are standing in the way.
This
Hopefully
is
we can
what
move forward.
what Matt's saying is correct. They don't want people throwing the cans.
You can
This
throw the
at a-
cup. The cup's probably heavier than a can.
Yeah, but if they open up the can, if they hand you a can, it's not open, and you chuck the can with the liquids in it, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
If you try to throw it with the liquids in there, then the liquid's just going to spin all over, and everyone's going to be mad and pretty upset. But of course, you can still throw cups. It happens all the time.
Dude,
It's
I
just
could kill
not
a
as-
person with a reusable cup.
You could not.
One hand.
That's the next episode, folks.
You gotta
We're
remember.
gonna do some.
How-
We're gonna do some testing.
How to murder somebody with reusable packaging with a Valium.
Brought to you by Avelio Matos.
Yeah, that was part
Talk
of it.
about packaging on
That was like day 2 of boot camp. Was
They teach you that in the Marines, right?
Because
They
there's so much single use plastic that's just everywhere that you are going to deploy as a Marine.
it's
It's like,
basically
if you
a
need-
weapon.
If you need something, you can grab this cup that's washed up on the riverbed, and you can.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, guys, we start wrapping up here. Thanks so much for joining us and listen to us BS about the latest stuff in packaging. JQ, for sure, we definitely want to have you on here and kind of talk about some stuff. It'd be great. See,
Yes.
Jose knows what's up.
That's right, Jose.
That's right. Can could be a weapon, but so can these. So,
Louis and Roscoe.
all right. So, what do you guys have coming on? I'm super excited. This week, I'm interviewing James Victore, who's
Oh yeah.
design legend. He's got work in the MoMA. He's been displayed all over the world, and he's like design royalty. Super rebel, crazy, amazing artist. So definitely looking forward to that. I'm super stoked about that. What do you guys have coming on?
I got Adrian Vanham from Reclay Stewart Edge, and there he's talking about extended producer responsibility laws, and that's what they do. They help companies navigate that system. Which
I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
more and more requests on that.
I don't know who's coming on the show this week. So I apologize, but it's been a hectic few weeks. I will say I wanted to say this though about reusable packaging, and I should have brought it down with me because
How many people can you kill with it, Adam?
no, I cannot. But we were at We were at Lolo's Chicken and Waffles, and their cups that they brought out are like a rigid plastic. It's not like a really flimsy plastic. But they were like to-go cups, and my son was so excited because the meal was incredible. If you've never eaten at Lolo's, it's amazing. And he has reused that cup probably 30 times in our house. Like we
Great.
wash it, and I'm like, so not everything has to be designed necessarily for reuse, but you put a cool logo on it and make it inexpensive, and that thing's going to get reused a lot. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Shout out to Lolo's for maybe spending a little bit more, but getting a lot more use out of their cups.
It's great advertising for them.
Thank you. I'm
All
open
right,
to
guys.
sponsors. Free.
We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, we can get JQ on here. So get all your plastics questions ready, locked and loaded, so we can get all the answers from JQ.
The devil's in the house of the rising sun.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Matos.